next topic we're going to be covering in this training is going to be record creation using Keeper. So whenever I refer to the term record throughout this training, a record comprises of 4 data points. Title for you to differentiate, the username that you use to log in, the password you use to log in, and if it's a web-based application, meaning we use our browser to log in, we also want to save the URL. Things more secure and locked. Your employer actually has an agreement with Keeper to provide you guys with free family licenses for personal use. These can be redeemed by clicking on your email address in the upper right corner, account, and then we would input our personal email here. If you read the fine print when you're enrolling, it says they will not have administrative control or access to your personal vault. So it's a completely separate instance for you guys to use. Now, why are they offering this free family license for personal use? There's a couple of reasons behind this offering. The first reason is the business vault is technically part of the company. It's property of the school. And what I mean by that is, let's say tomorrow you win the lottery. You call your employer, you say it's been swell, but you're going to go travel, you're going to go do whatever you're going to do if you ran into that kind of money. They would definitely congratulate you, but at that point, they have the ability to either delete the business vault to free up a license or transfer the business vault, depending on business use needs. So you don't want to put anything personal inside of the business vault. You also just so happen to have a completely free family license for personal use. The second reason they're offering this is it's a symbiotic approach. And what I mean by that is, in today's day and age, hackers, they're getting very intelligent with how they orchestrate attacks. And what we found is they'll actually breach an employee's personal systems first, and then they'll wait for the opportunity to spill that breach over into the business environment. So your employer wants you to have a military-grade encrypted vault where you can hold all of your passwords. They want you to have these tools like Security Audit and Breach Watch to make sure you're really locking yourself down. And then by transitive property, it's a better protected environment for the business. Now, if you do leave your employer, the free family license will get downgraded to what we call trial status. And you pretty much have 30 days to choose if you want to do a paid subscription directly through Keeper, or if you want to offboard your data, that can be done as well under settings. Clicking on the browser extension, there's a couple of things we can do here. We can create a record, we can launch our vault instance, and we can even go into settings. A couple things that I've seen under security. Most people like to either modify their logout timer or turn it off. By default, it is set to 60 minutes. If you find yourself being prompted to log in multiple times in the day and it's getting cumbersome, under security, you will find the ability to modify this value. Please keep in mind that if your Keeper administrators have set up a ceiling for the value, you won't be able to go past it. But it will tell you when you set the value if you've gone past the ceiling, and it will modify it to whatever's compliant with what your IT team has set. The rest of these prompts, there's not too much to do. So like when we were updating the password, the prompt to change is what came up. We have a bunch of prompts that come up, like that prompt to create when I was creating the record for Twitter, but all of them can be controlled from here. Not really any recommendations here, but if you do find a prompt coming up that's annoying you, you will find it under here to disable it. Last thing is you can also modify the themes. Myself personally in the business vault, sorry guys, I just right-clicked. But myself personally in the business vault, I have my theme set to dark mode. It's a bit easier on the eyes, and I have it set to blue, just a little bit easier. But yeah, you can modify and customize all those things to your liking. That is all available. The first one is going to be folders, and under create new is where you can create a folder. And this is literally a standard folder. It's an organizational unit to be used exactly like you'd use it on a desktop computer. If you don't like having all your records sitting in here, you can drag and drop. You could do a bulk selection. So like you click on one, hold down shift, and then you could do bulk moves. But completely up to you if you want to use folders. Nobody can view a standard folder. Everything in your vault is only viewable by you. Keeper does have a strict zero knowledge and zero trust policy. I won't go into the nitty gritty of it, but in essence, what it means is you're the only one who can view the records in your vault, and you're the only one who can view standard folders in your vault. Now, the next topic we're going to cover is going to be for sharing. Sometimes you need to share something out, and Keeper does have a feature for that. Under Create New, it's called Shared Folders. And shared folders are literally a way for someone to be able to peek into what you allow them to see in your vault. So you create the shared folder, designate its location, give it a name, and then assign the permissions that you want. Do you want other users in the environment or in the shared folder to be able to add new users, remove old users, add new records or remove old records, all the above, or no user permissions? Same with the record permissions. Do you want the records you add to the shared folder to be editable, shareable, all the above, or view only? Keep in mind, if you set something to view only, it's only going to be editable and shareable by the originator of that record. Now, once you've created the shared folder, the icons are largely similar, little sharing icon in here. A standard folder just has a records tab, but a shared folder has a records tab, a users tab, and a settings tab, which we just set up during the creation. Adding stuff into a shared folder is the same process. You could drag and drop, do the bulk selection, just let's move all them in there. Now, the next part would be to navigate over to the users tab on the shared folder, hit the little pencil, and then from there, we can add in some individual users. Now, the moment I hit save, these users will have the ability to view this shared folder, and they'll only be able to view the records I added in the shared folder. Now, what's the benefit of doing this compared to email? This seems like a lot of extra steps. It seems a little cumbersome. It again all ties back to security, guys. So I won't bore you with too much of the details, but email, text message, those channels and methods of communication for sharing passwords and stuff like that is not that secure. Most of those channels are not encrypted, and a hacker can actually intercept it by downloading free software online and buying a $50 antenna off of Amazon. That's all that's needed to intercept those methods of communication. But using the shared folder feature in Keeper, that military-grade encryption that I mentioned at the beginning is applied to this shared folder. So when we create the shared folder and we add these other people, all the data is encrypted, sent over an encrypted channel, and only decrypted once it is received at the intended user's vault. So it's impossible to intercept and decode that data. So just a much more secure thing. Again, this is all about security and trying to keep things locked down and safe, and keeping the data we're tasked with safe as well.